This is my fly tying cabinet. This is where I keep my vise. Got drawer for threads, hooks, various fly tying equipment. And I made this quite a while ago. It's a prototype. I've actually started making a new one out of oak. And that's almost finished. I just have to finish the drawers and put some hinges on it, and that will be done. So that's good. We'll get our materials together. Got some red thread, some white bucktail, some red bucktail, tungsten cone head, a little bit of mylar ribbing, and a little bit of flash. When I was a little kid, I loved fishing, but I didn't have a lot of money, and I had a pathetic little tackle box. I had a couple of bobbers, some split shot, a couple of hooks, and I had a rooster tail, and I had one of these. This is a daredevil, and I always caught a lot of fish with this. And I thought I'd tie a fly that kind of imitates that, so that's what we're going to do today. Going to tie some thread on the back of the hook. Trim that off. Put a little flashing on. Bring the thread forward. Wrap this around. I don't always use this. Sometimes I just use red and white bucktail, make a simple little dart. But this is a little fancier. And trim this off. Going to take some red bucktail, cut a little bit, put it on a little stacker, give it a little pounding. Give this a little trim. We want to keep this red on top. So I come back here with a couple of loose ties. Kind of keeps it from flaring when you tighten up on it up here. Bring it right up to the cone. A little trimming. Careful not to cut your thread. Oh, that would suck. Okay. Now we'll take a little bit of white bucktail. Just going to stack this by hand. That's good. Match the length. This wants to go on the bottom. Going to do the same thing. Start with a couple of soft turns just to get this started on here. Try to keep it on the bottom. Do a little trimming. I'm not an expert fly tyer by any means. I just tie simple streamers and flies that seem to work pretty well. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to put a little flash in. It's always nice to have a little flash. This is an example of one of the streamers I tie for saltwater fish. So, deceiver pattern. Pretty effective. I tie these in green, blue, it works very well. Catch a lot of stripers. I'll trim that off. Okay, and that's almost it. What I'm going to do is add just a tiny bit of black to the top of it. Just a couple of strands. This is a synthetic. Trim that off. Just gives it a little dimension. A little whip finish on this. You see this only takes a couple of minutes to tie. Cut the line. And that's about it. I'll put a little glue on here. Just to keep the threads together. I've had days out on the pond where I've caught 30 or 40 crappies with this. Catch them until you're tired of catching them. This is ultraviolet glue. I used to use epoxy, and then you would have to find a way to keep turning the fly while the epoxy dries so it didn't all ball up on the bottom.